I'm recording now, so you just go ahead and do your thing.
I'm Clayton Q, and this is my song, Welcome to Nashville. In a smoky old barroom down in Tennessee, singing these songwriter circles, things ain't what they seem. You see, I rolled into Nashville in my old pickup truck, and 15 years later I'm broke and I'm down on my luck. Welcome to Nashville, where dreams will come true. If the right person walks in, you'll make $1 million or two. And the neons on Broadway don't like giving in. Thank you for coming. The bartender's happy y'all come back again. They said no on Broadway to this guitar playing fool. The label said no way, son, your country ain't cool. So I met a few rejects and I started a band. Now I'm playing these podunk BFE bars with a tip coffee can. Welcome to Nashville, come sing us your song. It's 10 years for record deals, but for some it's too long. And the neons on Broadway don't like giving in. Thank you for coming and paying your dues. Y'all come back again. I've lost family, friends, and lovers on this music dream run. I've had a few paychecks, had a few long necks, and had a little fun. I've been beaten up on Broadway, true story. I've been broke on Music Row, also true. I've packed everything up a few times, but only made it to the road. Welcome to Nashville, a songwriter's dream, a dead end for many, an outlaw's new thing. But the neons on Broadway don't like giving in. Thank you for coming, drinking and loving. Y'all come back again. Yeah, thank you for giving up decades of your life. Y'all come back again. We'll see you the same time tomorrow, fella. About closing time.
Oh my, how lucky am I? This is a part of the collaborative that I'm getting to mix with, and not just someone super talented, but someone who complements the Cindy's Choice brand and that integrity-centric that cares. Hey, y'all stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to jump in to an in-depth conversation with Clayton Q. Cindy's Choice is integrity-centric businesses that care about the community and they want to contribute through collaboration. Rick Worley and Son is an awesome example of a Cindy's Choice. That's because it's the people behind the product. That starts with Rick. Rick is the president and the owner of Rick Worley and Son, Inc.
We do collision. You wreck your vehicle, you bring it to us, we repair it, put it back to pre-crash condition. I was 22 when I started, really young, but I had been around the industry since I was born. I've been in business for 25 years. We try to be the best. A lot of customers depend on their vehicle. We're working on their investment, making sure their investment's back the way it was when they first purchased it. You have to be good to your customers. You want your techs to have certifications. You want them to be trained in process and procedure of repairing the vehicles. And I have a program where a company comes in, trains my guys. They get certified, so they have backup for their skills. We try to get it in, get it out. We don't need grass to grow around your car,
So if there's a car crash and collision repair is needed, Rick Worley and Son is the place to go. They are Cindy's Choice. They're integrity-centric and they really do care. And be sure to go to cindyschoice.com and check out the other reputable businesses at Cindy's Choice. Thank you for staying with us. And again, here I am, Cindy here, Cindy's Choice with Clayton Q. Clayton, it is just really awesome to have you here.
Thank you so much.
I'm feeling super special right now for that personal appearance in my studio. Just amazing. Love that song. Love all your music. I've got to see you perform live, but I've also gone and checked out a lot of your music on YouTube and so forth like that. But what I really love about that particular song is when we met, I was recognizing this parallel with where we're at in our careers, in our missions. And that song expresses that very, very well. And I think what I loved about you is you have such a realistic perspective. It's kind of like the way, I haven't shared with you yet in depthly, but this all started from me being homeless. And I'm a make it happen, visionary, hurry up and get there, let's get this done kind of girl.
Yeah.
So for me to learn that, something of quality, something that's going to stay for the long run, something that's going to mean something, it's an investment. In today's society, it seems like things are happening quick, and you hear about, but most of that doesn't stick around long. It all happens quick, but it has no longevity. And I saw that longevity with you, but it does come back around to, like I expressed, I'm not just lucky to hang out with such amazing talent. We're all attracting people like ourselves, which are integrity-centric people that really care. And you think integrity doesn't always include really care. There's some people just follow the rules, but really caring makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't just come through in your song, but that it's I got that with you right away. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I know this guy from both of us being involved with the John Schneider Collaborative. I'm kind of crazy cool collaborative, but this John Schneider Collaborative, a lot through Bo's Extravaganza, and you tour with Bo's Extravaganza.
Right.
And it was really funny in Camden, Tennessee, the first Bo's on the road. I'm trying to find some place to do my interviews that wasn't quite so loud, so I'm walking away from the stage. But I hear this entertainer, and I'm like, wait a minute, who's that? So I hiked my way back down there a little ways and got to check you out briefly that first day before I needed to head back to do the interviews. And then I had somebody track him down. I wanted to talk to him. And I got to meet your new bass player, and it was really fun. So that was my introduction to you. But I want you to share a little bit how you crossed paths with John, And then, well, I'd like to go back from there, like,
Okay.
well, how did you get to that point, kind of thing? Where did all that come from?
All right.
But just share a little bit. How did you become a part of this John Schneider Hello tour?
Well, you know, I've been a huge fan of John Snyder. Not only since, you know, when I was younger, the Dukes of Hazzard, I just knew him as Bo Duke. And then when I got older, seeing him in other shows, Smallville and Parts Unknown, and he's in the Haves and the Have-Nots. And played a lot
Exactly.
of huge roles, and he's produced a lot of his own great films. And, you know, I've been to several of his concerts and events, and I wanted to do it started when I did a festival in my hometown, the Hazard Live Festival. I was walking on 2nd Avenue, and I saw this General Lee sitting there at 2nd Avenue downtown Nashville, and there was this man standing out in front of it. His name's Kenneth Mahan, and he's from Cookville. And I said, "Hey man, is this your car?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's cool." I said, "Can I take a picture of it?" I said, I'd love to have you come up in my home area in Kentucky, do travel." And he said that he did, and I worked with him. First, I produced a music video titled "Crawl," themed after the Dukes of Hazzard, and then I had him come to my hometown. So he called me one day. He said, "Hey."
I've seen that. Was that before you were in the collaborative?
Yeah.
Oh,
This was a couple years ago.
Okay, because I was going through so fast, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, and I thought that came after. So that's really cool.
So and Kenneth Mahan said, "Hey, you need to come with me. We're doing an event with John Snyder," and I hadn't got to meet him yet. And so we went down to a benefit that he was performing at McMinnville, Tennessee, and I met him and his wife Alicia. And so I told her, I said, "Hey, you know, I'm playing a lot of different types of events and some hazard themed events, and I'd love to come perform at Bo's Extravaganza next year." And so she gave me her information, and it kind of just it you know just ended there just a little bit. The following year, I'm playing Hazard Fest in Bulls Gap, Tennessee, and we opened for John Snyder. We're on the schedule, and I hadn't talked to him or his wife the entire time, and we perform, and after we perform,
love those kinds
she
of
comes over and
coincidences.
she says, "Hey," she's like, "Hey, oh my gosh, good to see you again. You have to get in touch with me." She said, "We have to have you at Bo's next year." So this, you know, COVID had just hit last year also, but the following year, which was this last April, she booked us, me and my band, to come down there, and we performed. And I said, "And I know you're doing Bo's on the road. You're going to have several." She said, "I would love to have you at all of them if you're able to come." And I said, "Just consider me as part of the lineup, part of the tour." So we did Holden, Louisiana, at Bo's Extravaganza, John Snyder's home place down there.
I wanted to make it down there. That's my birthday weekend too.
Wow, it
His
was
birthday is
amazing.
April 8th, and mine's the 10th.
It was so
And I'll be
awesome.
down there next year. I was just so excited to make the first Bo's on the Road in Camden, Tennessee.
Right.
And I met them when they came to Boyd Speedway, which they're coming back to Boyd's in October for the Bo's Extravaganza. You'll get to see Clayton perform there, and a whole amazing lineup of artists there with John Schneider. And but John had come, and the Boyd Speedway's under new ownership, and then Emerson Russell had bought it, and it was really fun. I don't think I shared this with you. He bought it in January, and they called me. I think it was on a Friday, it was a Friday that Emerson called me, and I ran over there to see what they were doing. And John was coming a week from that Saturday, so I couldn't even get on the phone till Monday. And oh my goodness, I got him on everything. I mean, it was just, and that's hard to do because everybody's booked up at that point. But we got major promotion for John Schneider coming to Boyd's, and he came and they announced the Bo's on the Road, and he sung the national anthem.
Oh yeah.
And you know how powerful.
I've seen the video of him singing that.
I love I was front and center actually videoing him when he sung that, but I just love the way he talks about encourages everyone to sing. This is our national anthem, not the national anthem, and it's very passionate. And and then when he sings the
Right.
song, it just adds that much more to it.
Right.
But I love that you've connected with that collaborative, and I love that I'm part of that collaborative, and they, you know, they know what I'm about in supporting small businesses and serving the community. They're about community. That's what was that amazing going to Camden?
Oh yeah, very
That,
amazing.
what I was experienced, because, you know, I'm not like a entertainer celebrity, but it's people are approaching me like they're so excited. They're like, isn't this amazing? Isn't this so cool? And you know, I've got my little mic, so they think I'm somebody, you know.
You are
And no,
somebody.
you know what I'm saying. But I love that I felt approachable to them, and that they came and expressed how much they appreciated Bo's extravaganza coming to their town.
Absolutely.
And these young kids are like, I've never seen a celebrity before. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness. What a great way to love a community and encourage them, you know, we need that focus more than ever, you know, to be community oriented and, you know, support our local communities.
Right.
But I love that taking it
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, there's
And
a lot
again,
of celebrities there.
October, you'll get to see Clayton, but we'll talk about that again. I want to do that separate and talk about, like, you've got a lot coming up. You're booked pretty solid here for a while, but there's some little gaps in there that I'm hoping to be booking you for some things that I see coming up and get Clayton here local more often. But you're out of Nashville, right?
Yeah, based out of Nashville.
So how did this, you know, the song said a lot.
Yeah.
So let's start, like, where are you from and what got you to Nashville in the first place? Like, where did you recognize your talent or your desire to be a music artist?
Well, you know what? That goes back to growing up with my family. My father played guitar, and him and my mother would sing together. And around holidays, we would go to my grandma's house in her little 3-room house up on a hill in Muhlenberg County, Kentucky. And we would gather around, and my cousins had banjos and guitars, and
Sounds
we grew
like you're
up
singing
singing.
this song. It's
Right.
like, it's awesome. I love
And we
this
grew
song.
up, I grew up around that environment, and we always sing in church, you know, growing up. And my father's a preacher, and so I grew up singing every week, every Sunday, around music, and we would sing. And when I got to high school, I did a talent show, and my uncle had a local barber shop, and I would go down after school and pick with him and listen to some older folks play, and he would take me to a nursing home with him and play when he was voluntarily cutting people's hair. And so, you know, I learned and cut my teeth on an older
my.
generation.
Yeah, that's
So
that's awesome to
So
be
first of all, that song, Welcome
hanging
to
out at the barber
Nashville,
shop.
it's just the 3 basic chords, G, C, and D. And what some songs, some older country songs, people say, well, I just have 3 chords in the truth, because that's the older traditional music. So Welcome to Nashville, the deeper meaning of that is it's a traditional sound, because it comes from traditional roots and upbringing.
I love that. I love that. And all, you know, that I'm big on authenticity.
Yeah.
And that authenticity music, you know, everything cycles. It's coming back. Because it's, I know, like a lot, I'm just amazed at the young folks that are listening, you know, to classic rock and 90s country and so forth like that. And I'm like, oh, they get it. You know, It's like this will cycle and everything got all synthesized and, you know, I don't know, almost kind of cookie cutter there. But then all that original gets, you know, people start craving that more, and it'll all cycle back. And yay, to get back to authenticity, where there's meaning behind stuff. And that's very important to me. That's why I always emphasize, like, when you go to cindyschoice.com, the businesses that we endorse truly are integrity-centered business. They're not businesses. I'd be a lot bigger company if it was just people wanted to pay me to promote them. But that isn't what we're about. We're about integrity-centric people that really care. And that way we can, you know, I can help these small businesses, endorse them, and expand the platform to help them. But the more of these businesses that come on board, the more I get to get out and serve the community. And it's just, when I say that to you right now, it's so surreal because, like your song, you know, welcome to Nashville. You know, I'm about to look like an overnight major success. And it's like, where did she come from? Oh my goodness, I've been here all along. Yeah. You know, this is like a 20-year vision for me that, and you know, is about to explode. And that's to have the kind of success that most of us desire, dream about. That's what it takes. And there's the overnight success, the true. I mean, that happens sometimes, but if that happens because it just happened, that's usually not intentional. Like, I'm gonna, you know, make it that quick. So I love that song, and I want to dig more into that. But we're gonna take another just really quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Clayton Q. Cindy back here with you, and John Schneider. Oh my gosh, the first bows on the road. So excited to have been able to.
Look at all these boats. Isn't this great, Cindy? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful?
No, John, it's really wonderful. I got to tell you, this has been so amazing. Little children, families, people, they're coming up to me and telling me how much they appreciate that y'all are here. They're like, I never met a celebrity before. That's so cool that they came here. It really is cool that you come here, and this community has received it. They love you, and what an awesome community, isn't it?
Oh, it's a great community, and they showed up. So many people showed up at the Birdsong on Friday for the VIP night. Then Saturday for all of the wonderful festivities. The music was great. The food, the mechanical bull was great. Local crafts, right? So local craftsmen were there. So it was really a great way, as I had said before, for the community to fall back in love with its hometown. Yeah. And then last night at the Camden Speedway, there were people everywhere. They sold out of water before intermission. So it was pretty great.
Oh, it was pretty great, y'all. This guy raced. He was like behind the wheel.
I just kind of was feeling the car out, trying to see what it could or what I could and couldn't do. But I'll catch up. You know, you want to creep into that.
Yes.
Right. So I'm creeping into it. We're going to race again in 2 weeks, and I'll go a little faster, and then a little faster. And I'm by about the fourth race, then I'll be in it. I'll be in the mess, and in grave danger. No. I'll be in the mess, and I'll be having a great time. But it was so much fun. Jerry over there was terrific. John York at the Birdsong Drive-In is fantastic, and Birdsong Bob.
Exactly. Bob and Judy here at the RV resort.
Bob and Judy. What did he say? It was Marina Bob and Judy. They're fantastic. So if you missed it this year, don't worry about it. We're coming back next year. I was just told we have 100 boats, which is fantastic. And some boats are great party boats like this, and some boats are like super fast cigarette boats like
I'm
that.
in one of those, John. I'm in a cigar boat.
Of course you are.
But look right there. Cindy's choice is to celebrate and collaborate our community. Yes. And that's why
I even did the thing.
Yeah, oh God. And that's why I love it, because that's what Bose is about. Let's celebrate and let's collaborate our communities. Yes. And I love the mission these guys are on. And so go, just John Schneider, Google it. And
check it out.
I'm telling you.
Bose Extravaganza on the road. Or just look me up, johnschneiderstudios.com. And but you'll have a link. We'll have a link to you. You'll have a link to us. But the most important thing is appreciate and love where you are. Get to know your community, your butcher, your baker, your candlestick maker. Shop local, live local, and it'll be a better place.
Hey, love local.
Love local, absolutely. Shop local, live local. It's hard to say. Shop local, live local, love local. And the world, especially local, will be the world will be a better place one local at a time.
I love that.
That's a t-shirt. All right, I'm going to push her in the water now.
Awesome. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Great having you out there.
Oh, you too.
All weekend. It was so great.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Cindy back here with Clayton Q. And thank you for staying here with us today. As I want to jump back in, because talking about your awesome song, Welcome to Nashville. Well, welcome to life if you're going to
Right.
achieve anything.
Right.
And that's something I've talked about a lot on my radio platforms and so forth, because to me it comes down to perspective. Because it's not just understanding how things work, but I can just imagine you've taken some abuse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if you don't have the right perspective, you just are not going to survive that. And because it's been the same for me, and most small business owners can relate, because you're a small business.
Right.
And that's what I try to remind people, like the nonprofits that we support, they're a business. A church is a business. It's all business. And it's tough. The statistics before COVID were horrible for like Bloomberg, Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes, all of those are very consistent with statistics that like 85%, and people always correct me and say more, do not succeed over 5 years. And so in the music industry, we know that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you said, but in anything, that if you're going to achieve something special, because I was going to say something big, but big isn't always special. It's like
Right.
if you're going to achieve something special, you've got to have that perspective. And to me personally, it's got to be a passion and something you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, how else to get there. You can't fake it. They say fake it till you make it. No, I'm like faith it till
Yeah,
you make it.
absolutely.
Because there's no faking it, and that's the authenticity, I believe, is why you're succeeding.
Thank you.
And this collaborative that's coming together with John and all them, there's so much authenticity there. It's kind of like rocking my world, because you feel like you're the only one sometimes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's a lot of authentic people out there, and we're finding each other. And it's confusing now, and I want to help people, Clayton, and I'm not anti-internet at all. I love technology. But it's putting this kind of message out there that it's just real easy to have good content and get popular or get famous. And very few really do, benefit from, are able to do that, to achieve
Right.
that. And even then, it can't be too fulfilling.
Right.
If there's not, if the purpose was just to get popular and make a lot of money, instead of purposeful,
Right.
and have something that really means something, not just to yourself, but to others as well. And music, oh my goodness. I mean, what would we do without music? I mean, that's one of God's greatest gifts to us is music. I'm sure that are watching right now are like, how many songs got you through? How many music artists are identifying with your song and feeling some kind of like, yeah, that's me. Somebody else gets it. This is tough. And that healing
Right.
of music. So you grew up in the church singing, some kind of musical, foundation.
Right.
Where does this decision to pursue like country music as a career, how did that come about?
I also in school, before I really had the knowledge of the music industry, I knew I wanted to play music, and I also had a love for the arts, and I got an art scholarship to Nosy College of Art and Design in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. So I moved to Nashville because I could go to school. It was commutable distance from my home in Kentucky, and it was the music capital of the world.
Hello.
So that's how I ended up in Nashville. And I really, I finished school and graduated college, but, I told my parents, I really want to really try to pursue my music career more so than what I learned in school. And I have very supportive parents. And my mom told me that when I was born, I was born 2 months premature, and my lungs hadn't developed. And she said, the doctor said that you have the will to survive, and I know that you have the will to make it in anything that you want to do. So we
Wow.
support you in your decision.
That's some good seeds planted right there. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, that truly is powerful. So I feel a share moment coming because I kind of had the opposite kind of upbringing. And so chances for, I mean, when you've got good parents that love you
Yeah.
and are feeding into you, oh, that's how it's supposed to work. That's some good stuff. And that don't mean it makes it easy for you, because we're going to talk a little bit about that. But that mine was different in that it's kind of like the seeds, some good seeds were still planted, but I just don't even know who my biological father is. And my mother, God bless her, very ill, sociopathic, hated me, exploited me. I was abused, molested, abandoned, really bad stuff. So not just, no love. And yet, it's weird because there were, even though it was in a derogatory way, there were good seeds planted, because it was confusing to me but people would always say, oh, well, Cindy's the smart one. Cindy's the sensitive one. Cindy, she's the pretty one, but I was a little towhead blonde, but it was like, it's so weird. All this negativity, all this bad, but even that kind of, oh, Cindy, that planted some seeds, that smart, that Cindy will be the one that does something.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know I was believing that, but despite everything else, somehow, thank you, Jesus, I knew to hang on to that, or it just got planted good in there. So that is, I love that you shared that it's so, it makes sense now why you're so even keeled. And, that there is I'm trying to think of what the word is, but, it's empowerment is what it is. I shared people a whole lot. Empowerment's a whole lot different than confidence. Confidence comes from within us, but that empowerment comes when you're on the right path, and that can only come from like the love of God, but that love empowers us when we're applying it the way we're supposed to, and there's like that subtle empowerment vibe that you have. Not to mention the what's the aqua guy you look like?
Well, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, he's got the
Aquaman.
Jason Momoa eyes. And that's so funny because when I first met you, I'm like, why is he so familiar? Because I know like so many people. There's always, always getting people confused with other people and stuff. And then later, when I brought you up, and one of the girls goes, oh, you mean Jason Momoa eyes? And I was like, I'm like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So, so.
I met him once.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I was of all places, I was in the men's room, standing at the stand-up, and this guy come up to me. And BB King's in Nashville last year. He said, hey, man, you know who you look like? I thought, are we really going to do this here? And I said, Aquaman? He's like, yeah, man, you look like Jason Momoa. I said, I get it all the time. He said, you need a picture with that guy. And I was like, yep, I sure do. And he said, well, I'm his manager, and we're here, and he's right outside.
Okay, it wasn't Jason Momoa, but
No,
oh my
it was his
gosh,
manager.
that's
And
crazy.
he walked me right outside to Jason and introduced me, and we got a picture together.
Send me that picture for the B-roll.
I will.
That's awesome.
I will. And he said,
That-
if you're looking for any stand-in work, I said, you want me to do this? Because he's got a few more inches on the arms than I do.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's really funny. So, all right, back to this journey. You get to Nashville, and then pretty much it's the song from there, right?
Right.
Because I just can't imagine, I share about some some major hard hits, literally being homeless and alone on the city streets, not knowing anyone. There's things there you just don't know how to share, because just so many people aren't going to be able to relate to some of the things you have to face,
Right.
kind of thing. And it's confusing because, I didn't want to be there, yet I'm glad, now that I can identify with people that are there and find better ways to support and help people and be more caring and
Right.
not judge. There's no judgment for anybody at all
Right.
in me whatsoever. But in your journey, you've had some. I imagine there's been some times that you were considering maybe this wasn't for you.
Several times, just like I say in the song, I've packed everything up a few times, and at one point lost my vehicle. You know, Jason Aldean's got a song, "One year they repossess your truck, the next you make a couple $1,000,000." Well, I haven't made a couple $1,000,000, but I definitely packed everything up and headed to the bus stop. And as it was coming down the road, I thought, you know, there's got to be something else I can figure out in my career. And I went back and found another opportunity.
That's amazing. But losing your vehicle, I'm like, oh man,
Oh,
I've been there. It's like that's the
do
worst.
I-
It's like even, yeah,
Do I?
because you can live in your
Do I
vehicle.
let my vehicle go and pay my house rent, or do I let my house go and live in my car? A
Exactly.
few times. And there's been some times when I thought, well, and I've had to sell my guitar. I can, you know, play on the bed, but I can't sleep on my guitar. That analogy, you know, sleep on the guitar. And I've had to sell guitars a few times. But there's always been, God has always made a way for me.
Exactly.
And He's always come through for me. He's always answered my prayers.
Well, and what I'm hearing, sacrifice. It's like I've had to constantly let go of things, but what I get back later it's all so worth it. But when you're that dedicated to something, and you know that we need that now. We need to encourage people. There's an expectation for things just to come too easy, and the value, like I was talking about, that empowerment. I would hate for anybody to rob that opportunity of you getting to experience what you've experienced, and that freedom and that empowerment is just, I'm like, oh, I knew to try to get there, but when you're there and you're like, oh, wow, freedom is a pretty amazing, very amazing thing to have, and most of us don't have it. Most of us are holding on to something for security or for reasons we don't even understand, or controlled by something that we're not realizing is guiding our life, which is a lot of times fear.
Yeah.
And to get to a place of empowerment, I'm saying you're getting to a place of freedom, and it confuses a lot of people because it's obedience. You're definitely obedient, but when you get to that place with God where you're obedient within your destiny and what you're supposed to be doing, it don't feel like obedience. it just has you on a ride to where you're supposed to be. And that's what I recognize with you. I go, oh my goodness, I feel this parallel and I do that, but you and I are like more kind of at the same place on that. I'm feeling a parallel with a lot. There's this amazing convergence that's happening, but it's like I feel like we've been at it around the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, people, you've got an audience in several different states. I mean, you're building up an audience in Oklahoma now. You mentioned Kentucky, and you travel all over the place. And so how does that come about? Like, you know, how did you end up you're in Nashville. How did these gigs, is it just networking, just the right person, the right time? And because you're like, I'm following you on social media. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere.
Yeah, I ended up in Oklahoma because of Bo's Extravaganza.
Right.
And you know, once that was out in the media that I was going to be in Longdale, then I reached out to other sources, other people that I have, and said, hey, I'm going to be touring the Longdale. I'd love to come through your city if you know a venue or something, or someone that would like to have me come play. And my network of friends reached out and booked me shows along the way, so that way I could stop in Panama Beach on Tuesday, Jackson, Mississippi on Wednesday, Dallas on Thursday, and Friday and Saturday I was in Longdale, Oklahoma. Out in Longdale, I was fortunate enough to meet a man named Kevin Waltman with 99.7 Hank FM, and we connected. And
I might know him. I gotta look up at my phone.
Yeah,
I know it.
You have to look him up.
I know a radio guy owns several stations out in Oklahoma. That'd be too weird
Great.
if we're.
It probably is him. And they're out in several different markets. They put me on the radio, and then they've also booked me for a show this fall, Battle of the Bands with iHeartRadio. And I don't really, I would say I know how this happens by me talking to people, but it's just talking to people, being my natural self, and saying, hey, I like you. I play music. Let's work together. Let me utilize what I'm doing to help you. You utilize what you're doing to help me, and let's eat together.
Yeah. Well, but I'm telling you, there is an authenticity that works for you, where it doesn't work for a lot of folks who try to book themselves. And what's coming to mind is with the authenticity of you just being yourself and being real and not being there to sell something. But then also, I think what happens with a lot of folks is that desperation kind of thing is in the forefront, instead of just trusting how things are supposed to be. And like that is so key, is knowing when things don't work out, or not to go to try to put too much effort in something you're not sure is supposed to be. Because when you get in that empowerment, authentic, on my destiny road, it does. When if it doesn't work out, then that there's something better at the next exit. Just like you waiting on the bus and making up your mind. There's got to be something else I can do, and then that something else comes along. So I love that, and I love sharing that with people, because it's gotten so easy for me to do that I don't want to forget how hard it is when you're not there.
Right.
And I want to encourage folks that if it's like, the music industry, for goodness sakes, that's tough. That's a tough market. And
thick skin.
Exactly, you do, but you got to keep. That's the Cindy's Choice logo.
Yeah.
You got to have that thick skin. That's the dagger and the shield, but it's a heart-shaped shield, because you can't get cynical and let your heart get hard. You still got to care, but you've got to armor up and not take things personal, and have some grit to hang in there when things get tough. And they're tough for extensive amounts of time. So, but that's the beauty of it. That's what prepares you for the next level.
Right.
So you can manage it that much better and handle it. And I so see that with you. And that's why it's like, I felt almost like, oh gosh, I felt like fast friends with you, because I just was identifying with where you're at and your personality and so forth. And we got to hang out a little bit. We got to ride in we weren't on the cigar boat together, but we were on the other boat. Because with Camden, we had a boat parade, which was so much fun.
And the owner of the whole marina gave us the tour of the entire lake and all the facilities around.
So he was my boat buddy.
TVA, the historical value of everything there. And that was for the real VIPs. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Shout out to Birdsong Marina.
We had Cody Nance. We had to hang out with so many cool people. He's a professional bull rider in that area, and Turtle Man, and it's just
John
fun.
Ranke from Tiger King.
Yes,
our buddy.
And the guy from Moonshine Shiners, there was just, it's an amazing crazy. See why I call it a crazy cool collaborative.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take another quick break, but we've got more here with Clayton Q.
I'm Clayton Q, and this is my song, Save Myself. It's almost time. Time's ticking now. I'm almost gone from this world. Lord, help me now, 'cause I don't know where to go to save myself. Save myself. I'm scared to death. Sweat on my brow. gone from this world. Lord, help me now, 'cause I don't know where to go to save myself, to save myself. And I don't know where to go without you here. What do I say? How can I pray with all this fear? Where do I go? Where will I go? Where do I go to save myself? Save myself. So here it is, my last goodbye. My memories on a letter read by your eyes. I wish it wasn't true, and I was in your arms. P.S. I love you. Just know that I love you. And I don't know where to go without you here. My heart's oppressed in this pounding chest that's drawing near. Where do I go? Where will I go? Where would we be if I'd have saved myself? Save myself. Save myself. Hey y'all, I'm Clayton Q, and I'm right here at Cindy's Choice. I would love for you to support the small businesses on cindyschoice.com. By doing that, you're allowing Cindy's Choice to give back to the community. It's important that we support those small businesses so that we can keep giving love to the community and receiving that love back. I'm Clayton Q, coming to you from Cindy's Choice.
Hey, Cindy, back with you, and Clayton Q. I'm so enjoying this. I can't wait to have you back already. It's like it's this. We're gonna wrap it up here, and I'm like, no, I want more. And one of the things I definitely wanted to ask you and talk to you about is that bullet around your neck
Bullet right
there.
here.
I remember when you shared with me about that.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, that's okay. I see why I'm feeling this synergy with this guy. Tell us about the bullet necklace he's
So
wearing.
it started when I volunteered to go play a show at Fort Campbell Military Base, acoustic show, and they enjoyed it very much, and they asked me to come back and play for the Fort Campbell MWR tour, and we opened for Warner Music Group artist Hunter Hayes.
Oh.
There was about 20,000 people there at the concert.
Wow.
It was awesome. And they did a presentation that day of different cannons and things going off. They shot some cannons and they flew some flags, and they talked about what each one of the time period they come from in the war, and it was really nice presentation. And we did that on the 4th of July the following year as well. And so I really love performing for veteran-based benefits, and I love to have something with myself associated with our military. So I have a good friend whose father, retired military officer, and he he presses his own ammo, and so I asked him if I could employ him to take shells with no primers, they can't be shot, and make them for me. So I employ him as a veteran to make these shell necklaces for me, and everyone in my band has one, and you can get them at my shows most of the time, but you know, ammo is scarce these days.
Yeah.
So I've chosen to gift them to people that I meet and that are in my circle.
Right.
And one really cool story is that, you know, I got to play a show with Rick Allen, the drummer of Def Leppard, and so I was asked through some people. I was introduced through some people that I'm connected with, just networking, as we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
They said, Clayton, we're doing a benefit for Sweet Relief Musicians Fund, sweetrelief.org, through the Big Love Foundation. Big Love Foundation is owned by Rick Allen of Def Leppard and his wife, Laura Monroe, who's also a very talented artist. And so they called me one day, this other person that I knew, George Edwards from Sound Image Productions in Hayward, California. He said, Clayton, I'm going to call you on FaceTime. He called me and I looked and there was Rick Allen of Def Leppard. He said, Clayton, I love your song Drive, and I'd like to play drums on that and have you come out to California for this taping. And it was myself, Clayton Q, Winona Judd, Billy Idol, Tommy Shaw from Styx, Sammy Hagar, Brett Michaels.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it was in the Almond Betts Band and the Big Love Choir. It was really, really nice. Really great production. Raised money
You
for
got
Sweet
to
Relief
soak up
Musicians
some good
Fund.
mojo out there,
I
didn't
sure
you?
did. And I gifted everyone, including Rick Allen, one of my shells that no one else has these, and he hung it on his drum set while we were playing, and I have that on video, and it's very cool. And then he's wearing it also in another picture on his Instagram, Rick Allen Live.
Oh, that is so awesome. I love that. I love that, and that just demonstrates your heart.
But it's also very special to me when I can gift one to a veteran, and which we do at every concert.
I bet. And that's another, like, you know, this was my 4th year to be involved in the Armed Forces Day Parade, and we always sponsor a veteran-related nonprofit. And the last couple of years, it's been our nonprofit partner, the Price of Freedom Foundation, which we love supporting them. And it is so important because, you know, a lot of the brand, we do a lot with first responders and our military. And one of the Cindy's Choice taglines, there's so many of them, you know, Cindy's Choice is to be brave and make a difference. And it's like, you know, why does brave fit with making a difference? And I'm like, nothing worthwhile, nothing, you know, that's going to do any good in this world happens without courage.
Right.
And you know, you know how I don't like getting giddy over like celebrity entertainers. I get giddy over first responders and our military.
Right.
And it's like I'm a fan, but it's like for those that go to the front lines on our behalf. Oh my goodness.
Right.
I'm that fanatical fan. I love them and supporting them, and I love that you're supporting them in such a unique, cool way. But again, it's an authentic way. It's your way of really demonstrating your heart, and it's very evident that your heart's in the right place there.
Thank you.
But that's what it's about. And you know, folks are tuning in here on CTN. They may be watching this on one of my podcasts or your podcast. There's no telling, you know, who we're reaching right now.
Right.
And more than ever, we need to reach people and reach them with love. And you know, it's really hard because, like I shared with you earlier, I didn't have I wasn't familiar with love. And I remember I didn't get saved till later in life. And folks were like, you know how when you get the same message 3 times from 3 different people in a short, you know, I still remember so clearly in about a 2-week span, 3 people felt compelled to say, Cindy, because they could see my heart. I was so eager to help, and I'm just this Pollyanna that loves everyone. But they're like, Cindy, before you can become a really good giver, you're going to have to become a good receiver. And I was like, I had no understanding, no clue what they were talking about. And I get it now because I didn't know how to receive love. And I had to discover that through seeking Jesus and seeking the love of the Father. And that has just like completely transformed my life. So now I've got this awareness where when I talk about love, I'm kind of like, now some of y'all, I mean, where you're thinking is love really isn't love. And it's not, you know, you've got to dig in. And the only way, you know, if that hasn't been demonstrated to you through godly parents and so forth like that, so you know to seek the love of God on your own, the only way to do that is seek Him on your own. Is be, you know, dedicated. But for me, it's just something you haven't experienced, something that's not familiar. It's really hard to seek something that you don't have, you know, any. Oh, I'm so glad I made the choice to just believe.
Right.
Not try to figure it out. Believe it's there and seek it. And now that I know it, I'm like, oh my, there's no way to describe to somebody that doesn't know it. Just get it. I'm telling you, it's powerful. Love is powerful. So I thank you for getting out there and spreading love.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we get to collaborate with other people
Yes.
that are spreading love.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's really, really amazing. And it's at a time that we do need it more than ever. And we do, you know, we need the dutiful. We need the people on the front lines, the people that soldier up. And maybe, you know, they're demonstrating love in a whole different way than like I can get out there and be the Pollyanna and, you know, and love everybody and hug everybody and be involved in the community. Well, not everybody can do that.
Right.
So I like representing folks that need to love us in a different way. Like small businesses, they need to be operational and focus on growing their business and employing more people and taking care of, you know, that. It doesn't mean they don't care about community and want to contribute more. That's too much. They can partner with me and I can do that on their behalf.
Right.
But I'm liking what's going on here because we're kind of on, like, you know, the same mission in a different way because music is, like I started it out, music is so important to so many people.
Right.
And I want to, the other song you mentioned, I said, oh man, I want to get him to play that one. You've got so many. But so many of those songs, like you said, those authentic 3-chord. But I know you have a big band. He's got a full band and an amazing sound. But I love that the 3-chord songs that come from a story, you know, that helps people. That you'll never know some of the people that will touch.
Right.
And it'll help them through a moment. It help them when they're at the bus stop, you know, go, wait a minute, you know, maybe there's something else I can do. And that's huge. And so, hey,
absolutely.
There's so much more than, you know, follow Cindy's Choice. Keep tuning in here. We want to inspire, we want to encourage and educate. But I love these kinds of demonstrations of, you know, seeing, you know, I share a lot about how it's applied to my life and transformed my life. But there's a lot of folks out there just being authentic and, you know, knowing the road they're supposed to be on and staying on that road and, you know, keeping their integrity, caring about others, and getting someplace because they're on the right road.
You're correct.
And you're on the road a lot. So we appreciate so much that you could get by here in the studio in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The Nashville boy came on down here to hang with us in the Cindy's Choice studio today. And we'll have him back. And again, thank you for helping me kick off. You're our first Music Mondays artist. And I'm looking forward to having some people that you know really well in here as well. But I'm so looking forward. I'm looking forward to having you back, but I'm looking forward to when I can get to your next live show. Amazing. And thank you for your live performance to start this show out.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you